And when he told them the secret, he was so happy. He just wanted the Pandavas to be happy. And he wanted Krishna to be happy. So he was laying there. He instructed Arjuna, shoot arrows from my feet to my neck, and there should not be even enough space between arrows to put your finger. And each arrow has to go in the front and come out the back. Now some of us, when we're on yatras, we step on a thorn in our foot. And we think, why is God doing this to me? Just think about Bishma. And he was laying there. And if you were in that situation, arrows going in through the front, out through the back, hundreds and hundreds of them in your body at the same time, and you're laying there, you would probably want to die. But Bishma, he had a blessing from his father that he would only die at his own will. So he just laid there for weeks. When he laid down, all the warriors from both sides stopped fighting that day and all came to offer their love and respect to Bishma. And after the battle, when Yudhisthira was victorious, he was coronated as the king. But he was feeling very, very sad in his heart. Because of me, so many people had died. It wasn't because of him. It was because of Duryodhana. But he put no blame on Duryodhana. He was so humble. So Krishna wanted to pacify him. Krishna also knew that on that lonely battlefield in Kurukshetra, where there was nobody around living, Bhishma was just laying there. Bhishma knew that Krishna would come. Such faith. Krishna said in the Gita, Kaunteya pratijanihi name bhakta pranashyati. I will always protect my devotee. From Bhishma's perspective, that protection, and this is a very important principle, that protection was not that he would win. That protection was that he would be there to save him. Bhishma lost the battle, but won the war. Ultimate victory. Krishna came all the way back to Kurukshetra with the excuse of bringing the Pandavas to hear him speak. When they arrived, and when others heard that Yudhisthira was coming and Krishna was coming, many other great saints and sages arrived to be on the scene to hear Bhishma speak. Can you imagine that class? Sometimes we're sitting on these nice seats and our health is kind of all right. And still we're thinking how difficult to speak. But Bhishma, he was laying in that bed of arrows on the hard, cold ground in Kurukshetra in the winter. This is January. Kurukshetra is extremely cold in the winter. Just waiting. he knew Krishna would come. He wouldn't give up his body until he fixed his mind in the beautiful form of the Lord. And when all these people came, Bishma wanted to welcome them all. It was kind of like that deserted battlefield after the war was over. It was like his home. And everyone that came, he couldn't stand up. He couldn't even move. But with his head and with his glances and with his heart, he was welcoming everyone that came before him according to his capacity. And this deeply moved everyone's hearts to see how much effort he was making to show his respect and his love. In offering of love, there's no material qualification or disqualification. Whether you're old or invalid or blind or poor or rich or healthy, Krishna sees our intentions, and that's what he receives. Bishma was lovingly giving hospitality to everyone, especially Krishna. He couldn't stand up to receive him. All he could offer him was his heart. And when he looked at the Pandavas, it just melted his heart. He was thinking, why is it that Yudhishthira had to suffer so much? In his body, his actions, through his words, or even in his thoughts, he never did anything ill toward anyone. Even those who were trying to destroy him and hated him, he was always a well-wisher. He would never tell a lie, even under the most difficult predicaments. He would never harm anyone. He was everyone's well-wisher. He never did anything immoral in his life. Do you know anyone like that? So according to the laws of karma, as ye sow, so shall ye reap. For every action there's a corresponding reaction. We understand when people are suffering, they must have done something to cause somebody else suffering. But Bishma, the Pandavas never did anything. And they suffered maximum. So many tribulations, so many reversals, hardships, injustices. And Kunti Devi, the most chaste, faithful, innocent, pure-hearted lady, she suffered the most to see what her children were going through constantly from their childhood. And there was no break in the plots and the evil exploitations of Duryodhana toward her family. And she was helpless to do anything about it. So Bishma was thinking, why? And then he explained his realization. No, this was all due to the inconceivable nature of time. Krishna tells us in Gita, I am time. Time is controlled by God. And time is the supreme force within material existence. Everything is under the control of time. in everyone. Such a mystical thing. Time will burn the sun out. Time will dry up every ocean. Time will make every mountain, even the Himalayas, covered with ice, into powder. Time will take away the bodies, physically kill everyone. From Lord Brahma to the insignificant ant. And everyone in between. Time is all powerful. And time never takes rest. Yes? Never goes to sleep. Never stops. Even if your clock runs out of batteries. Time continues at the same pace. Nothing can stop it. You can't bribe time. You can't seduce it with beautiful temptations of money or beautiful charms. Even the most powerful armies in the universe cannot slow down the advancement of time with all of their artillery. And yet, you cannot see time, can't hear it, can't taste it, can't even smell it. It's invisible. It's the subtlemost thing in all of the creation, but supremely powerful. All the great people of history, whoever they may have been, all succumbed to time. And we know for sure. It's going to happen to everyone. This Earth planet. Man cannot destroy the Earth planet. We could make a mess of it. But we can't destroy it. Only time will destroy it. It will be non-existent. It may take hundreds of millions of years, but from the perspective of time, there's really no difference between hundreds of millions of years, billions of years, or even trillions of years, and a second. Because time is never impatient. Yes? Just gets his work done. Because time has all the time in the world. And beyond. Bishma is saying, this is the inconceivable power of time, which is ultimately under the control of God. And Bishma was marveling over Krishna and so much appreciating the Pandavas, that throughout whatever they went through, they never gave up their dharma. They never gave up their devotion. They were constantly devoted to the Brahmins, to Dharma, and to the Supreme Lord. And the Srimad Bhagavatam and the great acharyas, who were all presented to us in Srila Prabhupada's words, explains how Krishna teaches the world through the greatest devotees. There was really no reason for the Pandavas to suffer. But in this material world, whoever you are, whatever you've done, whatever you've not done, there's going to be reversals and suffering. Yes, we could very likely live a much better life if we do good karma rather than bad karma. But you even have to suffer if you do only good karma. Because dukkhalayam ashashvatam, the material world is like that. Everything's temporary. Abrahma bhuvanaloka punaravartanojana mamupetya tukontaya punarajanmana vidyate. Krishna tells in the Gita, from Brahma Loka, which is the most pious place for the people with the ultimately best spotless karma, down to the lowest, where the most sinful people reside. Krishna said they're all places of misery, because material world is a place where everything is temporary. And we see, even the devas with very good karma, they have all kinds of difficulties they have to deal with. Even Lord Brahma. What to speak of us? We're honest. We give in charity. We don't like to hurt people. Why am I suffering? Because that's just the nature of this world. But what is a great person? A great person is not someone who has such good karma that they don't suffer. Prahlad suffered reversals. Great saints, Haridas Thakur, Srila Prabhupada, Jesus Christ, Moses, Mohammed, Narottam Das Thakur, Bhakti Vinod Thakur. When we read the lives of the great personalities, even the Brijabasis, in Krishna's Leela, so many reversals, so many hardships, so many challenges, difficulties, anxieties. Vaikuntha means a place of no anxiety. That means no material anxiety. In the sense that the great souls, in whatever happens within this world, where the inevitable will take place, they turn to God. They turn to Krishna. They never give up their virtues of devotion, their purity of heart, their desire to serve selflessly. And great souls go through so many of the same things that the rest of us do. But Krishna teaches us what is greatness through them. Because in whatever situation, they always remain faithful to the loving service of the Lord. And in the most difficult times or in the easiest times, they gratefully take shelter and chant the holy name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. This was Bhishma's conclusion, that even the greatest thinkers, the sages, enlightened beings, cannot understand completely the inconceivable will of God. That means we cannot understand the details of how and why it's all happening. But Bhishma Dev did understand the principle behind it. And if we understand the principle, we can attain perfection in the inconceivable movements of time within this world. And that is, whatever situation, with a grateful heart, to take shelter of the Lord and to do the right thing. Bhishma then gave one of the most incredible classes ever given. It composes many, many chapters of Mahabharata, where he was describing so many subject matters. And in doing so, he completely pacified Yudhishthira Maharaja's heart. And he did it all while laying in that bed of arrows. When he looked upon the beautiful form of Krishna, Param Dristva Nivartate, all of his sufferings, all the pains of those arrows going through his body and his living through it. And please understand, inconceivable. He couldn't die unless he decided to die. Those arrows were piercing through his heart, through his liver, through his kidneys, through his pancreas, through his lungs. Not a finger could be put between any of them, even in those organs. Now, who at Bhaktivedanta Hospital that's here could possibly diagnose that? How is he still living for weeks? That was Bhishma's power. He wanted to see Krishna before he left this world. And Krishna knew that in his heart and came all the way to give him darshan. And when Bhishma Dev looked at Krishna, the beauty of Krishna, the sweetness of Krishna, his loving lotus-like eyes gazing upon Bhishma, that most beautiful smile, which is the origin of all sweetness in all material and spiritual worlds, is Krishna's smile. He smiled upon Bhishma personally. And that wonderful, wonderful form, colored like a tamal tree, standing before Bhishma, gave him so much ecstasy that Param Drisvani Vartate, he was experiencing such a wonderful experience, such pleasure in seeing Krishna, that he forgot all the pains of all those arrows going through his body and every organ. And how to speak when you're in that situation. But seeing the beauty of Krishna, appreciating Krishna, he was so grateful. How many of us could be grateful in a situation like that? His gratitude was in appreciating Krishna. Everything Krishna does is always perfect for all of us. And to have faith in that, in every situation, that yes, Krishna's here for me. That is real gratitude. And he spoke for hours and hours and hours. And when he saw the sun entering into the northern hemisphere, the Makara Sankranti, Bhishma understood this is a most auspicious time to give up my life. He stopped speaking and gazed upon Krishna. Then he glorified Krishna. There was nothing else to speak about. He said everything. He was remembering Krishna on the battlefield, covered with ash, covered with the dust of the hooves of the horses and the elephants, charging at him with the wheel of a chariot. He was remembering Krishna as that most beloved Lord who's willing to break his own promise to protect the promise of his devotee, who is always there to protect his devotee, and who had come now to protect Bhishma. How is he going to protect him? Just by being there. God's protection does not mean that he saves our physical life. He may. Saves our wealth. Saves us from a disease. He may. But the real protection is he's there for us at the time of our greatest need. Krishna is not different than his name. He is there for all of us in every situation. He's here to protect us always in his name. The question is, how do we receive that protection? How do we take shelter? Bhishma showed us. After glorifying Krishna in so many ways and showing his love, his appreciation, he remained silent and just fixed his gaze upon that beautiful darshan of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He who spoke so many words, who fought so many battles, who did so many great things, now put 100% of his entire consciousness in offering his love to Krishna. With tears of ecstasy in his eyes. And Krishna reciprocated by gazing upon Bhishma. And in that most perfect state, materially, it was the most imperfect state. But spiritually, it was the ultimate, most perfect state. He willingly gave up his life, returned into the eternal pastimes of Lord Krishna. And everyone there, they saw that he perfected his life. There was joy and sorrow. Joy that he has achieved the ultimate destination, and sorrow that we will never physically see him again and share his wonderful association together in this life. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also left his home to take sannyas on Makara Sankranti. And from this perspective that we are focusing on in today's talk, the same lesson is there. There's no question of Lord Chaitanya doing bad karma. It's a karmic reaction for most of us when people criticize us. When people threaten to destroy us. When people try to undermine us. Om apavitra pavitro va. Anyone who even thinks of the Lord Chaitanya becomes purified. He's all pure, supremely pure. But yet when he was in this world, as the most magnificent, magnanimous, and merciful of all incarnations, Parama Karuna Pahundui Jana Nitai Gora Chandra, Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda were giving prema bhakti in the mood of the gopis of Vrindavan to everyone, anyone. But yet, Brahmins, who are supposed to be the upholders of Dharma, who are supposed to be living by the highest qualities of forgiveness and patience and devotion, they were severely criticizing Lord Chaitanya. They were threatening his life. They were making plans to physically punish him. They were spreading nasty rumors against him. It was getting more and more. They won't accept it. I will take sannyas for them. Because when I become a sannyasi, even they will have to offer their respects. And by offering respects, their hearts will open to receive my message. So a time of great difficulty, challenge, even came upon the Lord. And taking sannyas, what that did to the devotees, when he left late at night, at around the time of Makara Sankranti, after having a nice festival of greeting the devotees and giving them garlands and giving them prasad and giving them good instructions. You are all more dear to me than my life, he spoke the night before. Just be together, chant the holy names, and never forget the name of Krishna. Whether you're eating or working or playing or walking or sitting or laying, whether you're awake or asleep, any situation, whether you're alone or together with your family or together with devotees, whatever you're doing, never forget this most sacred gift of the name of Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare.
In remembering the name of Krishna, we can be in the presence of Krishna. Just like Bishma was in the presence of Krishna and felt supremely happy while in that bed of arrows. In whatever situation we're in, we can feel supremely happy if we feel Krishna's presence. And Krishna is present in his name if we just learn to take shelter. This was the Lord's message. He was giving garlands to everyone. He was embracing everyone. They were just coming to see him to celebrate this auspicious day. They didn't know that he was going to leave that very night. And he did. It created a very, very big challenge. But for such a high purpose. But apparently was a great reversal and obstacle. Lord Chaitanya transformed it as an opportunity to give more and more and more people the blessing of love of God. And after he left home, not only the devotees and Sachi Devi and Vishnu Priya were drowning in an ocean of separation from Lord Chaitanya, but even all those who were blasphemous, who hated him, who were threatening him, who were spreading nasty, horrible, lying rumors against him, when he actually left, and they could never see him again, that was their thought, even they started crying in separation from Lord Chaitanya. The morning after he left, even practically all of those people realized who he was and what they have done. And when he came back to Navadvip, sometime later, all of those people came to him and surrendered their hearts. He didn't have to give lecture to them. All he had to do was leave. And they realized who he was. Makara Sankranti, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, his taking sannyas was a very, very incredible pastime that was apparently very much instigated by serious reversals. But it was for the ultimate benefit of the world. A very fitting day for Srila Prabhupada to have his temple inaugurated after the greatest battle in his whole Leela as the Acharya, founder Acharya of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Greatest battle was that land here in Bombay. But like Bishma, he knew that Krishna was with him. And where there is Krishna, there is ultimate victory. Manmanabhava madbhakto madhyashinda namaskuru mame vaishashi satyante pratijani priyoshime. It's Krishna's ultimate benediction. Always think of me. Become my devotee. Worship me and offer your homage unto me. In this way you will come to me without fail. It is my promise. Kaunteya pratijanihi name bhakta pranashati. And Arjuna, you promise it too. My devotee will not perish. Because Krishna is there to enliven the soul, to rescue the soul in whatever inconceivable situation time may put before us within this world. Yes, the sun will burn out, the oceans will dry up, the earth planet will disintegrate and disappear. But the soul is eternal. And Krishna's love for the soul is eternal. When we see it from that perspective, there's not really any very serious problems in this world. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur explained the only real problem is forgetting our relationship with Krishna. In this spirit, we come together as a family to help each other to be happy knowing that Krishna's always with us. There's infinite hope in every situation, always. Don't take the ups and downs of this world so seriously. They come and go for everyone, whoever you are. Yesterday we were on a boat in the Arabian Sea, and I was watching the waves. And it's so much like life. A wave goes up, a wave goes down, a wave appears, a wave disappears. We don't take these things so seriously. We take serious the opportunity. Our eternal relationship with Krishna. As a family we come together to inspire one another, empower one another, to share this great thing with everyone, everywhere, at all times. That Krishna's here.